It's that time of the year, folks, where it is time to predict and preview the Scottish Premiership 2025-26 season. Welcome back to Big Stevie Cool 1872. It's been highly anticipated, this, not just for me, for everyone this season. Everybody's predictions. I mean, honestly, when that ball gets kicked off tomorrow between Killie and Livy, there is no tomorrow. There's just only titles and cups to win. And I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. I'm slightly nervous, aye. But what I would say is, see, last year, I think it was clinical depression for myself. Going into the 2024-25 season, there was no hope. See, this season, I think there's a wee bit more hope. And we'll see if that will reflect in my predictions further up the table. But less about first and second, and more about 12th spot. Because there's a guy with the same name as me that's destined to take his side there. And we all know who that is. Stephen Presley. This guy, come on. Yeah, I mean, this is no. I mean, Stephen Presley is the kind of guy to order a singular P for himself at Witherspoons while getting the wrong table number and the wrong spoons in itself. There's no hope for Dundee. The only hope is if this guy gets sacked, and it's just not going to happen, if we're being brutally honest. I think he will get sacked, but I do believe that the damage will be irreversible by the time he does get sacked. I just believe the teams that are getting promoted, Livy, they will be resilient, they will be dogged, as David Martindale is with them. Falkirk, I genuinely believe that they've signed well and they will be a surprise package, and we'll see where I put them. Dundee are just the worst team in the league. They've lost a hell of a lot of players, like Silla, Cameron, Mulligan. You could and who they've replaced them with just doesn't fill me with any confidence. Now here, I'll give them a wee bit of credit. I think they beat Montrose there 5-0. They did. Beat Montrose 5-0, folks, but the reality is with that, eventually they were going to have to win. I did say that he'd be sacked by the end of August. The end of July. We're now into August, so Stephen Presley, he survived. And I remember I made the same prediction about another Dundee club, about their manager, Jim Goodwin, a couple of years ago. And he's still here, so here, Big Stevie sometimes gets it wrong. But yeah, 12th spot, folks. I'm going to go with Dundee. I just don't see it going too particularly well for them. Right, 11th spot. I'm going to go with Motherwell. This is a team that flirts with relegation, but then never ends up anywhere fucking near it, despite having periods in the season where they're by far the worst team in the league. I don't really rate the new manager. Their squad's alright, and this may seem extremely low for Motherwell the more I think it. Is it? Nah, it's no. 11th, man. We'll go. They'll get in the playoff. Again, I would expect Motherwell to stay up in the playoff, but I don't know what next May is going to look like. Maybe by the time we get to May next year, the top four in the Championship, they could be playing fantastic, and whoever of those three makes it through will scud Motherwell potentially. But yeah, I'm going to go with Motherwell. They've been circling it for a while. I think last season marked 40 years in the top flight. That's a nice round number to go back down on. So yeah, we'll go with that. Right, 10th spot, I am going to go with Livy. Livy, like I said, I think most people actually might predict them to finish 12th, but they've signed well, Livy. They've kept a lot of the core players to the Championship. To me, at least on paper, it's a much better team than the team that went down in the 23-24 season. And more importantly, they've got David Martindale. The guy is just great. He is the reason why everyone's probably least favourite team in, well, I say least favourite, that's probably the wrong way of wording it, but outside of your rivals, which waters it down a fair bit, but you know what I mean, outside of your rivals, everyone's least favourite team in the league is probably going to be Livy, if we're being honest. There's a squirrel just runs in front of me. Because the stadium, the lack of fans, just the style of play, there's just not a lot going for them. But I'll go 10th for Livy. Right, moving into the top 9 now. So who's going to Who's going to finish here? It's a tough one. I'm going to go with Kelly, man. They're going to finish around what they did last year. With Derek McInnes, they just had this factor about them that I felt like on their day they could beat anybody in the league, and that was proven. But with Stuart Kettlewell, it's just I don't know. It just feels like it just feels a tad flat, and there's something off about Kettlewell. You know, he leaves Motherwell and then just goes straight into Kelly. Now here, maybe the Kelly fans are a wee bit more forgiving than the Motherwell fans, but I just expect a run-of-the-mill season for Kelly without their typical heroics at home against the likes of the Old Firm. That's what I'm expecting from them. So I'll go 9th. Moving in to the top 8 then, shall we? And where do we go here? Where do we go? 8th. I'm going to go with Falkirk. You know, I'd love to put them higher, right? Because I actually do like Falkirk as a club. You know, I like the fact they've got Arfield. They've signed Smart. They've got a lot of players that I like keeping an eye on. I like the fact that Brian Graham's kind of got this like one last shot at the Scottish Premiership thing. I actually don't mind John McGlynn. Got a lot of fans, and their stadium's alright, despite the fact it's not got 4 stands. And they're just a club that belong in this league, and it's been a while since they've not been in it, so I think a lot of us tend just to like them. So for me, I'll go with 8th. I think 8th would be a good return. See, if you asked most Falkirk fans, here, you'll finish 8th, I think they'd take that. I know it kind of loses but the dreams of European football, the top 6 split, and hell, if you're crazy, even a title fight for Falkirk, I don't know, but you know, if you're being fair, if you're being real, I do believe that 8th would be decent. I do. Right, moving into 7th. 7th. I'm going to go with Dundee United. Because, I mean, yeah, they've beaten Strazen here. Some guy called me a CUNT on Folk Football because I said they haven't really signed that well compared to the other clubs in the top 6. I think that was a wee bit extreme. But here, fair play to them. They get past Strazen. Will they get past Rapid Vienna? No, I don't think they will. But I just look at the top 6, and to me the top 5 traditional teams are going to be there. And St Mirren under Stephen Robinson, I just think they will finish above Dundee United. There's always some form of European hangover with these qualifiers, man, and it's going to happen. So Dundee United to finish 7th. St Mirren, I'm going to say to finish 6th. Yeah, I know, nothing outrageous here. You know, the normal top 5 finishing 5. Stevie, it's hardly exciting. Well, trust me, Piss, I don't give a fuck what order this league's finishing. So as long as one team finishes at the top. So I'm going to go with St Mirren. They're just a step below the other 5, aren't they? And realistically, that should be case closed. Good night. So I'll put them 6th. Stephen Robinson, it'll be the 4th year in a row, top 6. They've not lost too many key players. They've pretty much got the remaining core of that team in there. And I think that's a crucial thing to do what they've been doing. But let's get into the top 5 then. So, you know, I'm not going to, spoiler alert folks, I'm not going to fire Hearts into like number 1 spot or anything like that. But as for this top 5, I think the order that these 3 teams could finish in are really intriguing in terms of Hibs, Aberdeen and Hearts. I mean, Hearts, no European football. Derek McInnes, I rate him. I look at Hibs. I also see, I mean, against Midtjylland, I thought the Hibs were great. Really unlucky not to go in to the next round. And then you've got Aberdeen, who we've not seen kick a ball this season, but they won the Scottish Cup. And I don't think Aberdeen have signed particularly well, if I'm being honest. I look at Hearts and I look at Hibs, and I think their business is just a wee bit better. So I'm going to go Aberdeen to finish 5th and pretty much replicate what they did last year. But if Aberdeen finish 5th and there's no cup, which, let's be real, it's not like winning cups is the norm for Aberdeen. I know I can't really talk, but I just don't see Aberdeen. I think they'll finish 5th with no cups, and is that enough to sack Jimmy Thielen? It might be. It could be. Into 3rd and 4th, I think this is the difficult one for me, man. Because on the one hand, you've got Hearts, who absolutely brutal last season, but for me they've got a great manager in Derek McInnes. They've got a great squad. They've got the Tony Bloom investment. They're spending it wisely. They're keeping hold of a lot of key players. They're bringing in a lot of talent. Hibs, on the other hand, they haven't got Triantis back, and he was massive for them last season. And as good as they were against Midtjylland, there's things in that team that make me think you're not gonna be as good as you quite were last year. But then at the same time, Hibs were fucking brutal for like half of last season and still finished third. I just look at Hibs and see like Ellie Ewan and Junior Hoylett and Martin Boyle, and I see these guys that they've all got something about them. They've all got a touch of quality. Some of them are a lot better than the other ones, but they lack an end product, man, and knowledge of the offside rule. And I think without someone up front like a Shankland, who is just going to put the ball in the back of the net more often than not, it's going to cost them in the long run. So I'm going to go with Hibs fourth. Third, obviously, common denominator here, it's going to be Heart and Midlothian. I just expect big things for Hearts. And Hearts should be aiming to finish third, and I believe that the Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen, they should all be aiming to finish third. That should be the aim, that should be the reality of what's in front of them. No two ways about it. And I mean, who's got the third best squad? I mean, I probably would go with Hearts, but it's close. And I think this is a time, man, where Hearts with the Tony Bloom investment, someone needs to grab Scottish football by the neck in terms of third place, and do to third place what the old firm have done to the top two for years. Saying you're going to dominate third, I mean, dominating third spot's weird, right? Like, yeah, it's a great thing. Well, I mean, it is a great thing. I mean, if say Hearts, Aberdeen or Hibs, one of them for the last 40 years had finished third, I mean, that'd be alright, but they need to do it for like 5 years and build on it. That's the only way you're going to get into the top two, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll go Hearts, right? At least for the top two. See, last year, man, first time ever I predicted Celtic to win the league. I'll hold my hands up. I did. No two ways about it. I had no faith going into it. Our signings looked crap with a manager that, in my opinion, bottled the league. And the team just looked dead on its feet. And the signings last year didn't do anything for me. But moving forward, 12 months, I'm just much more confident. The signings, honestly, look good. Albeit the games against Panathinaikos haven't exactly cut the mustard, in my opinion, in terms of being too great. But yeah, the more important thing is that we won. And I do strongly believe that we're going to be better domestically than we are in Europe. I think that goes for Martin. So, without further ado, second spot, I'm going to go with Rangers obsessed Celtic. That's what I'm going to go with. Aye, there you go. Did you expect that wee bombshell? Fuck Celtic. I'm going with Rangers to finish first, because note the fact of the matter is this: we can't keep finishing second, guys. Come on, I mean, it's time to play the game here. Triple H style. Ooh, it's time to play the game. It's time to actually step up to task. It's time for one of these rebuilds to work at the first time, man. The first season. Instead of this, here it only really worked once in the past 12 years, and it worked 13 years, and it was for and it was for Steven Gerrard on the third attempt. No, it's time for us eventually to fucking hit it the ground running, right? And it's going to happen this year. That's what I'm predicting. Yeah, that's what I'm going for, man. As for Celtic, let's talk about them quickly, right? By their own accord, it's been the worst transfer window in years. Not here. There's a lot of time to go, but I don't believe they're going to get through in the Champions League. I don't think we're going to get through in the Champions League, and that's an even playing field. That's going to stop them from spending money. And we could be looking at a situation where no Scottish club plays in the Champions League for a bunch of years, and that's going to bring us naturally together. And I get to that's into the future, not really this season, but at the same time, their squad's a lot weaker than it was for me last year, and our squad's a lot stronger than it was last year. We've got new ideas, and we also realised last season, under the clown that was Clement, and under the new Orange Order, how to defeat Celtic. So For me, Celtic right now could not. You couldn't have asked them to be weaker going into next season, and that's not me saying that they're like the 12th best team in the league. They're not, but to me, they've not signed well. There is a lot of frustrations from the fans, and there doesn't appear to be the intent to actually go and sign these players. You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't feel like Celtic are going to go and spend like 20 million on like 5 players. It doesn't. I think what's going to happen is you're going to get 1 or 2, right? I think so, definitely. But until we actually see a lot of these players play, we're not really going to be able to judge like the Nygrens or the Inamuras. And yeah, fuck it, man. They're weaker than last year, and as long as we sort out our results against the rest of the teams, which it's easier said than done, folks. It's easy me saying that, but the reality is it's a lot of games, a lot of drop points. 17 points is a massive gap to overturn. But you know what the great thing is? We all start on 0. We literally all start on 0 again. It's not like, oh, it's 17 points at the start of this season, so we do have to bear that in mind. And also, Ange did it right in his first year. Gap was 25 points. And I'll be real, I was naive. I just never seen it happen. But see, once Celtic overtook us in February, I was like, damn, we're done. We're done. And we did end up losing the league. The only thing I will say is, in the summer of 2021, we had a shite window as well, right? The likes of like Bacuna, Lundstrom, was James Sandside in that window? He might have been. A few other jobber players is right as well. But to me, there's a lot of similarities, man. We didn't strengthen while we were on top. We missed out in the Champions League, albeit Celtic's no missed out in the Champions League, but I believe they will. And also just a new manager for the other side coming in, new ideas, new attacking football, relentless attacking football. Aye, that's what we're going with, man. Rangers to win the league. I've went for it. I've made my bed. And here, I might be wrong, I might be right, but see, as long as the top 2 are right out of these 12 teams, man, I don't really care, because that's all that matters. And for me, going into a season, this is the weakest Celtic have been. I say this is the weakest Celtic. I don't recall the last time going into a season where they've had this like bad of a window, because if you remember, even like the COVID year we won the league, the window for Celtic looked good on paper, but obviously it's played on grass, so, and it's not overconfidence, man. We could easily lose this league by 10 points, but eventually we're going to have to get it right, and I believe we're going to get it right this year. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. That's it for Big Stevie Cool 1872, and peace.